Hi, I'm Kristen Yorka, and thank you for joining me on the Wild Wonder podcast, where we seek to demystify and democratize holistic wellness practices with today's leading practitioners. Today, we have business coach, life coach, and prolific author, Simone Kelly. We are so grateful you're here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's so good to see you.
You too. So you're on book tour, correct?
Yes. In the pandemic.
In the pandemic. How's that going?
It's good, actually. What I'm doing a lot more video, to compensate, but also smaller groups than I normally would. So yeah, and I'm doing it like every month. I'm doing something. So in November I did Atlanta. December I did December I did South Florida. Next month is Dallas, and then February is LA, and then I'm done. Then I go to Jamaica for my birthday.
Then a big pandemic celebration.
Yeah.
I caught the one you did in South Florida, and it was on YouTube, and you did a book reading of your latest book, Whispers from the Past. Can you share a little bit? I loved how not only you were reading it, but you had someone else doing the other part.
Yes.
Which made the book come alive.
Yes. That to me, that's the best thing to have. And she's actually an actress. To have shout out to Khadijah Kareem. She's one of my girlfriends from Dallas who's actually an actress. So that's one of the things that I love is whenever I do book readings, instead of it just being a boring, like me reading it and talking about the book, I try to make it fun, interactive, and do something fun and cool. So Whispers from the Past is my fifth book. Technically, it's really my fourth book, but it's my fifth book because Like a Fly on the Wall, I published twice. It was two versions of it. So basically, the book is about a character named Jacques Barati, who's a sexy, intuitive counselor who everybody loves him. He's from Morocco and French. He's very sexy. Everybody wants to go to Morocco to meet him, but he's in Miami.
Is he based on a real person?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, where is he?
Like none of my characters are based on real people, but they're mixed. Like one character might have four people that I know, or I mix it up. It's never like, oh, that's written about so and so. I don't make it that easy for you. However, so Jacques Barati, he is an intuitive counselor who helps solve people's problems. However, down the hall is Like a Fly on the Wall detective agency, and they bring him in to work on different projects and use his intuitive abilities to solve mysteries. So it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of juicy, steamy sex. It's mystery, suspense, and it's very supernatural. And the reason why it's called Whispers from the Past is because even though he's psychic, he starts to develop a new power, which is when he looks at you or touches you, he sees your past life, almost like a hologram in front of you. Wow. So it delves into reincarnation. A lot of people don't know much about it, or if they do, they don't really believe it maybe, but it's a real thing.
You may have started a whole new genre with like supernatural plus intuitive powers plus past life experiences.
Yeah, and I love it because it helps, and this is one of the things I really love when you said the title of your show, that you'd help demystify things. That's what I actually say. I say my books help demystify the idea of being psychic, because a lot of people think it's woo-woo, it's scary, or you're a witch or whatever. And I teach people intuitive things in 30 minutes, and they're like, oh, how did I know how to do that? And I'm like, yeah, we've been all fooled, we've all been right. We all got it, you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I've always loved about your work. Yeah, that's what I've always loved about your work, because I think when we met, 15 years ago, you were probably right.
Has it been that long?
I think at least. I was going to say 20, but I brought it back a little.
2011, maybe. I think, maybe 20. No. Oh, yeah, you're right. You might be right. Yeah, it's about 10. Yeah. Wow. I'm getting bugging me out right now. Okay. It might be 16 years.
You were probably one of the only, at that time, one of maybe two life coaches I knew about before, like now everybody knows what a life coach is, right?
Right.
But I remember that your whole thing was how to empower the person you're working with, which I really appreciated. And it was enlightening because so often, especially with intuitive powers, people think you go to a psychic or you go to a card reader, you go to an energy healer, and they're going to tell you about yourself or tell you what's going to happen. But like you're saying, it's the other way around, that we all have these
gifts. All have it. We all have it. Yeah. I mean, to be clear, even though I'm intuitive, I still would get clarity from somebody else just to double check. Because a lot of times we want confirmation.
Right.
Because 9 times out of 10 people come to me, they already know. They just want confirmation that they're
Yeah.
not crazy. You know what I mean?
Yes. Validation.
Yeah. So one of the things that's why I love teaching. I have a class called Discover Your Intuition, and I have 3 levels. So the more you advance, the higher you get. And in the class, it's not to become a psychic and open up a tarot card shop. It's to help you empower yourself and own your power. That's the name of my company. Okay. So you can use it in your day-to-day life, whether it's helping you in relationships, in career. It just makes you realize that we don't trust our intuition enough. That's the problem. You know, so I like to teach people how to do that. Going
back a little bit for those that might be listening, what is intuition for you? How do you describe it?
Intuition is, I would say, an innate gift that we all have. It's that inner knowing. It might be the voice in your head. It might be that feeling in your body. Sometimes it could be your gut churning, which could be something negative, or or your butterflies in your stomach, which could be something positive. For me, whenever I feel something good is about to happen, or I say something that's spot on, I get goosebumps. My clients know that's my thing. I'm like, you see the goosebumps? Like, you can't make it up. I can't make myself get goosebumps. So that's my intuitive trigger. So that's what I like to teach people, to pay attention to when you're meditating, when you're journaling, or when you're just, living your day to day. Pay attention to your body. What do you feel? Like, do you feel uncomfortable around somebody? Is there something off about them? Do you feel really happy around certain people? Like, just paying attention to your body, because that's a big part of the intuition. Really listening within.
I feel like mine's all in my stomach. Like, I either want to throw up, or I'm feel so full. There's no middle ground.
Right. And it takes practice. Like, people think, they take one class, they're going to be amazing at it. You got to practice. A lot of I've been doing this 14 years. So meditation every day, if you can even just do 5-10 minutes, just little stuff like that will help make a major shift in your life, and journaling. I'm very big on journaling.
Yeah, me too. I love meditation and journaling. It's the 2 things that bring me back to myself, because we're so bombarded, especially now, with all this information coming every which way, through your phone, through your computer, through 20 million different people.
Oh my God, through 20 minutes, different apps.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to join any more apps. Stop adding these. I got to check messages on Instagram, Facebook.
Right.
It's too much. Yeah. But
yeah, now the whole thing with, like, people are like, oh, are you on TikTok? I'm like, no, I cannot.
I don't even do TikTok. I have like 4,000 followers on Twitter. I haven't even been on Twitter in forever. And I do social media. Like, I'm a social media crazy person. But some things I just have to limit. Like, I can't. So.
Right. But it's that idea of being able to, it's really listening, right? What you're saying is that it's training the ability to listen to your own body and your own sensations.
I always tell people, prayer is talking to God, and meditation is listening. So you literally, when I feel high when I meditate. Like, sometimes I'm meditating, I feel like I'm floating. Don't let me go to that sound healing session. You ever one of those? You feel like you're teleporting to another planet?
I know. The other day I was actually doing it. Yeah. I was in my room, and my daughter comes in. She's like, you've been in here for an hour. I was like, sorry.
Like, no, but like, the more you do it, the quicker you go into it. So like, when I first started doing readings, I used to be so dramatic, like, oh, I gotta meditate. Now I can. The way I do it is I write down. I meditate. I do deep breathing. I protect my energy, and then I write down the person's name, first name, last name, age, and city. And right after that, I get a feeling in my body of what's going on with them. So if their throat chakra is blocked, I'll feel it, and then I'll hear her throat chakra been blocked for 5 years. And then I'll get a deeper story, and she go, yeah, I've been married for 5 years. My husband gets on my nerves, So it literally goes with the whole body and tuning in. So that's my thing. But again, it takes practice. The more you do different things, the more you explore, your spiritual awakening, the more you get other teachers, the better you'll get at everything. So,
But
practice.
That's something I've heard before when I've been getting an energy reading. Like, oh, I feel your stomach. I feel like a hole in your stomach. And somebody
sounds crazy, but it's true.
Right? And for somebody that's never experienced it before, it does sound crazy. Like,
right.
What do you mean? Like, how are you tuning into me? How does that whole work? So I think it's cool to hear it from, because you are also an energy healer, of how that feels in the body for the person doing the reading.
It can be uncomfortable, but it's not to the point of like, I'm in pain. I just feel like a slight, like I can even look at somebody and say, oh, like, actually, one of my friends the other day, she was like, well, what do you think is blocked on me? I was like, your throat. And then she's like, how you know? I was like, because I know. And then we laid her down and I did a quick chakra balancing with my pencil. And of course, the crystal didn't move at all. It's just like, when it doesn't move, that means it's blocked. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I was like, I told you. Like, I could just look at people and I can read them like this, you know?
And there's, of course, we did an episode 2 weeks ago on narcissism and empaths. And the feeling that you get of like not wanting to be around a person, like that intense feeling, right?
Yes.
And you can't explain it.
Yes.
And I used to try to talk myself out of it. Like, why am I such a jerk that I just like hate this person right now? Like, this person hasn't even spoken to me, and I'm like, no.
Right. I can't do it. Yeah, you read the energy. But this is to their I guess credit. Not all the time are they jerks. It's usually because their chakras are blocked. They're guarded. So if we're an open person and we feel energy and we're empathic, people that are guarded, we feel uncomfortable around them. We're like, something's off, or they're being fake. So perfect example. I'm from New York. So when I go back home to New York, I feel very uncomfortable. I'm Ubering all the time and walking because I feel uncomfortable on the train. And it's not because people are mean or nasty. It's because when you're on the train, guess what you're doing? You're looking, you don't want to make eye contact. You're like, I don't want to talk to anybody. So you feel these blocked energies around you. So it's like, it just feels weird, So no matter how much I protect my energy, I still don't like being around a lot of people, like crowds. I can't do concerts like I used to back in the day. It doesn't work for me. So,
No, and it's important to know that about yourself too. I used to think, what's wrong with me? Why can't I just like enjoy this party and be done with it? Like, why am I so weird that like hour into a dinner, I'm like, okay, can we go now? Like, I can't anymore.
You're super sensitive. That's what it is. Yeah. So, and also if you can't stand phony people. Like you said, narcissists. If you read right through it, it's like I can only smile on your face for so long because my face shows everything. So
well, it also makes me feel really uncomfortable. Oh yeah, my face. I can't lie, but it makes me feel really uncomfortable because I know what they're saying is not what the underlying truth is. Like they could be bringing you flowers, but their underlying intention is negative, and you're like, oh,
yeah. There's a either opportunist angle to it or something. There's something off. Yeah.
So I want to go back and talk about what might block someone from their own intuitive powers.
Fear is a big one. How they were raised, religion. I have a lot of students that were blown away when they took the class, but like they were raised either, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, all kind of, whatever religion. And they were told that's evil, it's bad, don't do it. Even something as simple as dreams. Having a dream to them might be very intuitive. Like that's how I got started, really. My dreams were very prophetic in the very beginning. Yeah, like spooked me out. And I was like, what the hell? And when I was a kid, my mother would tell me, oh, you're having a bad dream, you're just making it up. And kind of find out a lot of stuff that I was dreaming, my father saw too. So my father's very intuitive too. He hates when I tell him. I'm like, Dad, give me a reading, Daddy. He'd be like, hey, stop that kid. Hey,
Well, I'll invite him to the show next time.
Yeah. Oh, no, he'll panic. He has a great radio voice, but he panics in front of me. Yeah, I already forgot the question.
The block and with certain religions that they feel.
Yeah, that's the biggest. The biggest one is religion for sure. And also just afraid because some people I know I have students that. They do see, sounds spooky, dead people. I don't see it. I can do things with my eyes closed, but I don't want to see nothing walking around in Starbucks or, But there's some people that I know one of my students, she can look at you and tell if they're sick or, I have a friend that's a medical intuitive and he'll look at you and he'll see you, but he'll see like, oh, an organ that's dark, which means like cancer or something. Yeah, that's as I said, some people have it where they're afraid because they see stuff that they see kind of scary stuff. Now it's learning how to control it is why it's important to get teachers and to read and study because you can guard yourself and you can protect your energy and control what you see, so to speak. You know what I mean? So, but I think fear is the biggest one.
Yeah.
But one thing I will say is I always tell people all the time. One time I taught a bunch of it was like pastors and like really religious people in my class. Intuition. Oh, wow. And they were like little kids, like because usually when I do the class, I'll say, so for instance, somebody will have a book and the partner will be back to back. This is pre-pandemic. They'll be back to back, and somebody will be like, "Oh, I see red. There's something brown. I see like a naked person." Like they'll pick up something. They'll say, "I see blue letters," and then the other person, yeah, that's right. So they can't see anything, but they literally just did like 10, 20 deep breaths and started telling them what they saw. And by the time when it's time, okay, hey, anybody want to come up to the front of the class? All of them were running up to the class. I want to share what I got, like little kids.
Yeah. I had an experience like that are you familiar with Brian Weiss? He does past life, right?
Of course, yeah.
So I went to his workshop with my husband, and we did one of those. We weren't back to back, but we were laying down with one of each other's personal possessions. And we were able to like create a story around it. So you don't know if it's true or not, or you're at the time, or you're imagining it, or you're just making up a story. Mm-hmm. And then you start to ask each other questions. And some of it was, I'm getting goosebumps now. It was pretty spot on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't even know Brian Weiss did that. I know he puts people in past lives. It makes you see your past life or things like that. I didn't know he did that too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he did it. So it wasn't so much like what you're looking at, but what you could pick up from the person. What you feel touching one of their objects.
Okay. Yeah.
So that's what I love those. Yeah. But yeah, going back a little bit more, you said about finding a teacher and doing the work. And I think that's so important. I want to highlight it because now with social media, I think a lot of people are just following a bunch of people and picking up ideas here and there. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the important parts of having a teacher like you is having a person that is able to not only hold space for you, but hold you responsible for what you're seeing and feeling. Mm-hmm. And teach you how not only to properly connect with your intuition, but to form those energetic barriers and boundaries that are fundamentally important.
Yes. I just taught a class this past weekend in South Florida, and it's so fun to do because before I do a class, I always call my past clients or friends and I say, "Hey, you want to be a guinea pig today?" I'm like, yeah, sign me up. So guinea pig means like after they've done all the different lessons and learned the basics, we start with like objects, and then we start with like books or pictures, then we move on to objects, and then we move on to people. So they literally just have to do what I do, write the person's name down, first name, last name, age, and city. And they're not going to give a full-blown reading because they're brand new, but they'll describe the person, they'll pick up the energy. And then we call the client on WhatsApp, and I show the camera to the phone, to them, and they're like, "Oh, that's who I saw," and they'll describe what's going on to the person, and the person's like, "How did they know that about me?" So it's just confirmation, because that's once you have confirmation and you start to trust yourself more, then your intuition picks up.
Yeah, and
we doubt it a lot.
We do doubt it, and I was just gonna say we doubt it so much. At least I do or did that. I constantly have to remind myself. And you mentioned journaling. So I try to write down every time I get an intuitive hit or, something happens, like a bird feather falls on me while I'm walking or, something like that seems insignificant at the time. But then later on in the day or maybe even next year, it'll mean something.
Right.
And I have to keep reminding myself yes, this is actually happening,
There's no coincidences. I tell people all the time, I ended up in Atlanta because of I could tell you so many coincidences back to back. And I was like, okay, God, I get it. All right, I'm listening. I'm going to follow. And since I've been here, my career is taken to the next level. I'm already doing my first film in February. So everything that I wanted to do is moving fast speed because I follow my intuition. So
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's big. I think that's a great story because I guess that's what it feels like. And it's also what we forget is intuition is more like going with the flow. Mm-hmm. And then when you're not in your intuition, you're kind of, going what is it? Swimming up a river.
Going upstream instead of downstream. That's a shout out to Esther Hicks. They're always talking about Abraham Hicks. They're always talking about going with the flow downstream. Yeah, it's true because we're trained to fight things and make it happen.
Right.
And we have to work hard. When things fall in our lap, we're we don't really look at it as something that's a gift. We got to really embrace it when things fall in our lap.
Especially in this culture, I find myself feeling like it has to be hard because that's how we're trained, right? Mm-hmm. And I always try on my best days, try to remind myself, what if this were easy? What if it just were this easy? And that's a wild thought for me because I'm very much but what if the bottom falls out? What if the sky is falling?
But that's how you know you're in your calling too, when it's effortless, when it's easy,
Yeah.
when it flows. Like this is what I do in just regular life coaching or business coaching. I tell my clients, I said, what would you do if you had all the money in the world? Like, how would you spend your time? If you're doing what, like me personally, like what I'm doing now is what I would do if I was, rich, had all the money in the world, no bills to pay, which I do. So, but I love what I do. It's fun. I don't feel like I almost laugh like people pay me to do this. Like,
right. And then you kind of, at least I do, I kind of feel like an imposter sometimes. Like I'll teach class and I'll be like, that was so fun. People are paying me for this. Like, do they know that I'm having this much fun and they're giving me money for it? Or...
No, but people, see, that's the thing. People will pay you even more because they know you're passionate. They know you really love what you do. I mean, my students know I'm more excited than them half the time. I'm like, welcome to the X-Men. We're superheroes. I've hyped them up, so, and that's one thing I do that I think is my strength of being a coach and also an instructor, is because when they start to do their intuition exercises, they'll go, I don't know. I think it's like, I think I see. I'm like, stop saying I think. Tell me what you see. Just tell me. And then once they get more confident, they're like, I'm like, see, you're right. You were right. So it's just,
that's
doing what you love is important.
Yeah, that's so hard to speak it out, especially as women. I mean, it's a total throat chakra thing, but to be able to be like, I know, I want, I need, instead of be like, I think if maybe, or please, if it's not trouble, can you, but yeah, to speak it out and see it manifest in the world is, a huge step and a huge lesson for a lot of people.
My skill of being bossy comes in handy.
Yeah. Yeah, and
own your power.
Yeah, that's a big blessing of having a coach, right? Is just to have somebody behind you kind of kicking your butt through it. You're like, don't turn around, keep going, push, trust. Because I don't know, it is a wild ride and there's so many outside influences. And if we're not connected to owning our power, we can't get there. But I would
plug.
On the side. I would love to know a story about one of your students, and how maybe a person that wasn't connected to their intuition at all, and then the power that it brought them once they learned to connect to it.
One of my students, before she became a student, she came and got Reiki with me. And this actually helped me too, because I didn't, like, when I started doing Reiki, but I already was taking intuitive classes and mediumship classes, and I kept hearing, like, I'm working on her, and I kept hearing somebody, like, I sound spooky, but I felt like a presence in the room. Right. and I kept hearing a man saying something about a swing set, and I'm like, I'm working on going, I ain't saying nothing. That sounds crazy. Like, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I don't know what the hell. And he was like, tell her about the swing set. And I felt like she said, I said, do you feel any energy by your feet? She said, yeah, I said, do you know anything about a swing set? And she, like, they showed me a wooden swing set. She starts busting out crying.
Wow.
And I was like, what's going on? She was like, my dad, it was her dad. Her dad passed away, but he built a swing set for her in Texas. Oh, wow. And so from there, she was already like, okay, stuff. Let's, so then she ended up getting readings with me, and then she ended up taking my class. She was Jehovah's Witness, raised Jehovah's Witness. So all this stuff was like taboo. You don't play around with this. Don't mess with it. I'm surprised you even got Reiki. Look, I'm getting goosebumps.
No, me too.
You see them? That's how you can't make this up. Yeah. So, and I'll tell you, sidebar. You know her. Oh, you do. Yeah. I just remembered. I'm like, oh shit, we all know each other. So, sorry, these headphones were not staying in my ears. So then she took my class, and she took, like, I think up to level 2. And it really shifted in her life because it helped her with her career. It helped her with her relationship. And she was like one of my best students. She was amazing, like amazing. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird that I'm even bringing her up, because ironically, she helped me with a story in here, which I can't tell you what it is because it's not a secret, but it'll be a spoiler, so I can't tell you. But we'll talk after the film.
Yeah, let me know.
I'll call you. Did you read the book yet?
I'm halfway through.
Okay. Oh, okay. So what do you think so far?
Oh, I love it. I mean, you brought the characters to life in a way that's, I don't want to say unique because it's such a blah word, but it's different than other authors because it felt more more real. Like if I was out having a conversation or overhearing a conversation, that's what it would sound like.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's the benefit of people watching. I'm always like taking notes, like,
Yeah, thank you for like making me feel better about my like eavesdropping, because that's constantly what I'm doing.
That's why I miss hanging out at Starbucks. Now we only can take stuff to go. I would get good content in there. Like, oh, they're just meeting on a date. They don't know each other. They met on Match.com. Interesting.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe you do that too. It must be a writer thing, because I will either go to dinner or lunch by myself or with my daughter, and my ear is like in the next table. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, oh wow, they've never met before. I think we met on an app. She seems to be into it, but he's feeling a little awkward about it.
Right. Like, he doesn't look like his picture. I make up a whole story. That's how you know you're a storyteller. You make up a whole story. Like a little shot or something, So yeah.
Exactly. But anyway, so you had this client. We got a little sidetracked. You had this client.
So I was just saying, she went from being afraid, very religious, to now she's very intuitive, and she doesn't do it as a business, but she uses it in her day-to-day life now. So she's very open. She meditates. I mean, she got to the point where she can talk to her spirit guides.
Oh, cool.
Not everybody can do that, So.
No, but that's awesome. When you brought something up that is important to say too, just because you do these types of trainings doesn't mean you're gonna become an intuitive or an energy healer or this, that, and the other thing. They could actually supplement and empower you to like live out your own life, whatever your spiritual gifting is. And it might be, you might be a mathematician, but doing this work brought you there.
I'll give you an example. I have a student that is in real estate. So she uses her gift to pick better houses or pick, she'll do, in level 2 of my class, we do remote viewing. So remote viewing means you can give me an address and we'll go there in our minds.
Wow.
And
you X-Files music.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, exactly. So that was actually Twilight Zone. Before your time. It's okay. So anyway, she uses it in that regards where she can look at a property and say, she gets the hit, like she gets a good feeling about it, a bad feeling, or she'll go, something's going on in the back. Let me go check out the back of that house. And here's the thing: I've done, I have my own podcast and I've done radio shows on intuition. But on one of the shows, I had a cop, we had a medium, so cops, obviously detectives and they have to be intuitive. They have to follow a hunch on something. So we all use it. We all use it in our day-to-day, but I mean, we're supposed to use it. I'm going to say we all. We're supposed to use it. So that's why I love teaching it so much, because it's, again, something that we can all uncover.
It's life-changing, and it's also, when you're not in your intuition. I think I feel frustrated when I know I'm separated from, like I'm too much up here and not in here.
Well, when you need to slow down and like probably unplug. And so yeah, that I mean, not everybody knows, unfortunately.
No, I would say most people don't know.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, but that's why when they take the class, they're like amazed that they had this gift all this time. So it's
Yeah.
It's
I would love for you to take us through an intuition exercise if possible, or describe one.
I can give you some things that you can do to practice. So even if you never take a class, one of the things that I like to do is back in the day, it was before you go to a meeting. Now it's before a Zoom call. Guess what somebody has on. So like before my meeting, before this call, I could have went into meditation and say, I think she's going to have on orange or mustard or something. And sometimes you might be off a little bit, but don't beat yourself up. Even if you're in the same realm, that's a good sign, One time I was on the phone with a friend who didn't believe that he could do it. And I said, close your eyes, take 10 deep breaths. So the breath is like this, like you're fogging a mirror. And I even tell little kids, smell the cookies, fog the mirror. So little kids, they know that.
That's a good one, yeah.
It also helps you if you want to beat somebody up at work. So just do that to come back down, right? So you do that, and then you picture whatever the person is going to have on, or you picture what they're holding. So I had a DVD, and I said, tell me what the DVD is about, the movie, and tell me what colors you pick up. And he was like, there's no way in hell I'm gonna get that. And he got the colors. He was like, oh, there's like
wow.
earth tones. I think it's like a drama. Like I could have picked up a Disney movie. Like for him to get that was like in like literally 5 minutes. Imagine if he meditated every day. You know, so I tell people all the time, like little things like that. Another fun way that I practiced was, well, the guessing what people have on, even if you, I mean, you can call them on video later, but I had a friend she was in Brooklyn and I was in Florida at the time. And every day I would call her and she would call me or whatever, and I would guess her outfit. And this is prior to video phones, so I always thought she was lying. I was like, there's no way in hell I got that right. Because I was like, your hair is up, you got dark jeans, black boots, and whatever. And she was like, I do. And I'm like, this girl's just gassing me up. She doesn't know it. And then she would hold the phone up, Maritza, tell her what I got on, like her coworker, and then the girl would describe it. I'm like, so that helps your confidence. The more you know what I mean? Another thing is guessing what time it is before you look at the phone. Look, these are little baby stuff.
Yeah.
I do that every day now. Like that's my little thing. Oh, it's 7:52. Oh, 7:53. I was off 5 minutes. Okay, you know, like, I still got it. You know, it's your little way to keep yourself sharp. One fun one I'll tell you. This is actually pretty funny. This was a guy. Is this my ex-husband? I forget who it was. I think it happened with my ex-husband too, but TMI. But he didn't believe I could guess what he had on. And I was like, you have on, dark gray plaid, and I see like a burgundy stripe. He was like, wrong. I don't have no burgundy stripe. I was like, look, I'm not being fresh. Check your boxes. And he was like, yo! So that's how confident I got. I was like, I know I see burgundy, man. Like, so that's why I said you want to get to that point where you feel confident, where you trust it, you feel it in your body, whether you hear a voice, you feel it. Everybody has different hits of it. But that's just doing those little things every little day will help. One last. Oh.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, you mentioned an important element, which is confidence. Like a lot of it is that ability to trust in yourself and be able to, just trust and speak it out into the universe and use it.
One of my other friends, she told me a funny story because her practice was before she got on the elevator at work, to guess how many people were going to be on the elevator. Like this little simple stuff. So she did it, and then I think she when she got on the elevator, she pressed her floor and then she pressed the 8th floor, and then it was one guy in the elevator with her, and then he looked at her, he said, how'd you know what floor I was going on? She said, because you told me. And he's walking off the elevator. He said, no, I didn't. Like, he's like, I didn't tell you shit, So that just shows how in tune she was, you know what I mean? So it's amazing. That's what I tell people. It's so sad that a lot of us are brought up with this fear, of not listening to our dreams. Dreams is a big one. Like really writing down your dreams. I tell people all the time, learn how to interpret your dreams. Go on Google. Like back in the day, I didn't have all this. Y'all got Google.
Right.
When I learned all this stuff, we didn't have all this technology. But learn how to interpret your dreams, because when you get psychic messages, it's very similar to dreams. It's never going to be like, oh, Simone, your client Tanya is going to get a promotion. I might see Tanya climbing up a ladder. So when you read a dream, when you decipher dreams, they're usually very symbolic, or people, like you might see somebody floating in the air. That might mean promotion or success or finance or abundance. So it's learning how to really listen and slow the hell down. As hyper as I am, believe it or not, I can meditate. Nobody believes me, but I can.
And that's the key. I think people expect some kind of like lightning strike moment to happen. Like they see it on the movies as like these psychic powers, and all of a sudden I could like see into the future. But it really is. It's practice. It's being able to like sit down, slow down, breathe, and take all your thoughts and worries and put them on a shelf for a minute to be able to like really listen and take things in.
Can I give a little plug here?
Yes, please.
In this book, Like a Fly on the Wall, this book actually at the back of the book, and this was such a cool thing that HarperCollins did. Well, shout out to HarperCollins. Shout out to Rachel Kahn, my editor, where they wanted, I love getting shout outs. They wanted a whole section of developing your intuition, a conversation with Simone Kelly in the back.
Oh, wow.
And then living the intuitive life, an essay. And I give tips, stuff that I teach in my class on how to develop your intuition. I talk about how to, decipher your psychic hits and reading people's energy. So I give it's like a little teaser of how to do it. And then one thing I love about, the books is that when people read the books, they're like, hey, I'm like Jacques. I didn't know, because they realize it's not so woo-woo and spooky. Like they realize that they have a lot of the same similarities of things. So that's one thing I do want people to know, that it's in my books too. I weave it in, even though there's juicy sex in there too, but there's also messages and lessons. Look, the sex gets you in, but
right.
But it's not just sex, okay?
No, but that's a really generous and great bonus gift in the book. Not the sex, the
That's what I was thinking. Sorry,
the lesson. But like we were saying, I think that's why these conversations are so important too. So often after one of these episodes, I get like either anonymous messages or like secret DMs from people like, that happened to me, or this was happening. Oh, I thought it was just me, but you just gave me the words for what was going on. And I think it's comforting to know that it's not just you or us or them. Like, we all have these experiences. We just tend to play them down because I think personally, because people don't want to be made fun of.
Right.
I think people don't want to be thought of as crazy or weird. I mean, we're all just looking to be loved, and anything that's gonna like take us out of that love bubble, we try not to touch.
Right. You don't want to be the freak in the group.
Yeah.
But that's what I like teaching, because I say you're a freak like me now.
Now we're all freaks together.
You can do it. Yeah. But it's, and funny enough, my first fiction book, At Second Glance, it's more of a sisterhood book about like love, deceit, and looking at how you look at life, taking a second glance at love, right? But there's actually a psychic in this book, and that's what gave me the idea of, I'm always into psychics all my life, so yeah. He's not the main star, but one of the characters goes to a psychic, so yeah.
So that was like your gateway psychic.
Exactly. There you go. Exactly.
That's awesome. Before we go, I would love for you to let us know anything else you have going on right now. Books, classes, where you'll be.
Yes. So I would love, if you love to purchase a book, you can get Whispers from the Past it's going to be the book came out November 28th. Walmart, Target, Amazon. It actually became Amazon bestseller the day it came out.
Nice.
And if you'd like to get an autographed copy, you can purchase it from me directly from my website. Go to ownyourpower.biz /OYP-store. It's in the chat as well. Will they see that? Yeah.
They'll see that, and I'll put it in the description.
Okay, good. So you can purchase an autographed copy from me directly. And then this book, At Second Glance, it's on sale for only $5, which is it's $15 on Amazon. Go check it. But I'm selling on my website for $5, and shipping is $3, so it's like $8 altogether. And like a fly on the wall is what you can get. And my book tour. I'm going to be in Dallas November 9th and 10th. I mean, not November, January. Didn't that pass? Yeah. January 9th and 10th, 2021. And in February 20th and 21st, I'll be in LA. So, and I'll be doing my book signings and my classes. So if you want to take level 1, if you're a past student, take level 2 as well. I'll be teaching both in those classes. And lastly, if you'd like to take any of my classes, I'll be doing online classes as well. So please join my mailing list. So that way, no matter where you are in the world, you can take the class on Zoom. And you can just go to ownyourpower.biz and join my mailing list.
I love it. Big things 2020, 2021, despite the pandemic.
Yes, we're not playing. Like everything is what you make it. If you want to be woe is me and my life is over and it's the pandemic, I don't do that. So that's why things fall in my lap, because I manifest. I own my power. I manifest what I want, right? So that's what you got to do in life.
Yeah, you
I'm so proud of you. By the way, I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that you're doing everything that you wanted to do too. So
thank you. I'm proud of us. I think this is important work. And I just thank you. I'm grateful we were able to talk. We haven't been able to actually talk in about 5 years, which is embarrassing.
Facebook makes you forget. That's the sad part. I keep telling people all the time, because you see people on Facebook and but you're not even on Facebook that much.
No, just for business. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so good to see you. Please go check out Simone and all her wonderful work. Connect to your intuition and own your power.
Yes.
So you can be exactly as we were meant to be out in the world. And if you'd like to find out more about our Wild Wonder podcast, you can at wearewildwonder.com. Thanks so much, and I hope we get to do this again, because this was awesome, and it could have been
anytime. I got plenty of stuff to talk about.
Well, enjoy Atlanta.
Thank you.
We'll here in Miami.
Thank you. I'll be back in April, so hopefully I'll see you that time.
Okay, good. My birthday.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Aries power. Yes. Connect. Look. Wonder Twin powers activate.
I'm constantly making Captain Planet jokes, and everybody's like, what? All right. So good seeing you. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. All right. Thanks.
Bye.